Many Marvel Rivals players have been asking themselves the same questions. Is Rivals dying? And why does the game feel kind of unplayable? Rivals first launched in December 2024, just short of a year ago. The game got massive initial attention with it peaking on Steam at 644,000 concurrent players in January 2025. Ever since, there's been a steep decline in the Steam player base of about a 70 to 75% drop from the peak. In Season 4 today, Steam averages around 100,000 concurrent players. Many players notice optimization issues like bugs, balance problems, and unfair matchups. Community sentiment is increasingly negative in spots. So the answer is yes, there are major red flags of the game suffering from player base decline. However, the game is certainly not dead. It might not uphold the same player counts that made it the most popular launch title of 2025, but it still holds a regular, active, central, competitive community. The devs always look to make the player base happy, and with an IP as large as Marvel, they have millions of opportunities to do that. I think the developers can take some major criticisms from the community, like the famous EOMM issue. For anyone unaware, EOMM means Engagement Optimized Matchmaking. This is a matchmaking system in online games that prioritizes player retention by maximizing engagement and profit rather than ensuring fair matchups. Obviously, this is bound to cause a lot of issues in competitive. A vast majority of players report insane losing streaks that even go over 10 or 20 games because of an epidemic known as the EOMM agents. These agents blend in as regular players in competitive matches that perform like poorly designed AIs. They are quite literally useless to your team, throwing the whole game and putting the enemy team at a natural advantage. Sounds frustrating, right? Well, this has been an ongoing issue for quite some time. The developers even addressed it in a recent dev vision, stating that EOMM is not real, and the game's matchmaking is meant to make fair, balanced matchups. The community did not take this response well. It actually caused the game to lose a lot of players because people realized that this issue would not be fixed. You can't enjoy the game when you constantly lose to throwers. It's simply impossible. Marvel Rivals is recognized for having one of the most toxic communities in gaming right now, and I totally agree with that statement. Arguments break out and shots are fired before the first ban is even confirmed at the start of the game. The people are simply toxic and likely worn out from such drastic losing streaks. The game suffers from a lot of balance issues in character design, overtuned kits, and broken team-ups. Some characters that are noticeably broken are Luna Snow, Phoenix, and Magneto. These characters have very overtuned kits, with high viability in many scenarios. Magneto has very high damage output with consistent combos and shield defense. Phoenix has consistent heavy damage output, especially in grouped enemy zones, and excellent mobility. Luna Snow has very high healing and damage output, with excellent self-sustain, mobility, and invincibility ultimate. These characters are proof of some of the developers' overtuning problems. The newest character to the roster, Angela, actually suffers from undertuning. She is borderline useless in most scenarios right now. Why is that? I believe it's partially because she needs buffs in her displacement abilities, but she is also not being effectively played right now. The character just recently released to the public, and most people haven't learned how to effectively use her kit. In my time experimenting with her, I've learned the best way to use her is to flank and displace the front line into your team for quick easy picks. However, this is where the buffs need to come in. Just the action of charging into someone with Angela's shift ability removes half of her charge meter, giving her essentially no time to actually displace the targeted enemy. Additionally, her melee form needs more utility or combo potential. As she currently stands, she can swing her axes and she can shield herself in her melee form. That's all she can do. She really doesn't bring much value to your team in her current state, and playing her is typically considered a throw pick. Her launch has been very underwhelming, and had a very small impact on the overall gameplay, despite her kit being designed to shake up the scene for the tanks. The updated team-ups aren't really crazy, except for Thor and Black Panther. Thor's team-up with Angela is her best use currently, as it brings a lot of value to Thor. Thor's team-up can help him follow up combos and regain Thor Force quicker, allowing for even more combo potential. The new team-up for Thor was a much-needed addition. Black Panther's new Gamma Shield for Hulk is a huge upgrade too, as Black Panther has much more gained survivability. The rest of the current team-ups in play suffer a lot of issues, such as the overpowered Jeff Nato, the pointless Cap and Bucky aura farm, and the useless Magneto clone. Why can't they bring back the good old days of Magneto's greatsword team-up with Scarlet Witch? That team-up brought Magneto great long-range viability, really upgrading his kit. Or they could bring back Cap and Thor's team-up that brought Cap a huge damage boost, making him an even more oppressive dive character. The team-ups used to have real value added to the individual character's kit. Now we simply get Wolverine with lifesteal. Going forward, NetEase needs to prioritize the balance of the gameplay and the EOMM issue. There is clearly an unknown underlying factor here that either the developers are not aware of or they simply don't want to talk about it. Matchmaking is not working how it is supposed to, and the game is suffering major player loss season to season because of it. However, I don't think the game is gone for good. There is a lot of room for improvement that the developers can work on, such as the ratio of DPS characters to tank and support characters. If the developers tackle the right problems, I think a lot of the original players that liked the game would come back to give it another shot. What do you guys think?